Hey beautifuls, so I'm going to try and record this in stages as I go and do my makeup and try not to miss anything out. So this video is going to be my go-to everyday makeup products. I do switch these up sometimes from time to time. They're not always the same, but these are kind of the ones that I reach for on almost a daily basis. So I hope this helps. Okay, I don't even know what to explain about this. Yeah, it looks like a birdie's nest on the top of my head, but we're going with it. I have already cleansed, toned, and serumed my face. My first product that I always apply is the Smashbox Primerizer. So it's Photo Finish Primer and Moisturizer in one. I just love the way my skin feels with this on. It really helps to kind of like calm down any dry areas. Wow, voice is going. Maybe clear your throat before you go on video. I don't remember what I was saying now. It helps to prevent your makeup sticking to really dry areas and just helps sort of smooth them out a little bit. So I apply that first. Then I actually apply two primers. The reason for that is because I have combination skin, so I have drier skin in certain areas, especially where I have sort of my acne scarring, and then I have an oily T-zone. I used to have completely oily skin, now I have kind of combination. As I'm getting older, my skin is changing. But I also have very enlarged pores, as you can probably see here. So I use the Smashbox, again, Smashbox, like Smashbox. I love saying Smashbox. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Minimize Pores Primer, and it is mattifying, so it's the blue one that I use. It is oil-free and helps makeup last for normal to oily skin. Smooth over clean, moisturized skin. And I put it on my forehead, on my nose, and kind of this area here. And then I put a tiny bit on my chin because I have quite enlarged pores on my chin too. Depending on how bad my acne is, I will colour correct. So you can see here, these are quite red. They're not too bad. I probably wouldn't colour correct these, but I'm going to for the purposes of the video. So for that, I will use the Barry M colour correcting wand in the colour green. Okay, it's green, cancels out redness. So it helps it to not show through like your foundation and stuff. And it means you don't need to go as heavy on the foundation. Some people, when they're first doing this step, I have one on my eyebrow. When they're first doing this step, it feels a little bit intense. It's green, you know, putting green on your face, scary. So you can also apply a little bit of concealer on top of that. What I do is I take my stippling brush, which is this brush here. So I take the stippling brush and I just kind of press it on like this. And it just sort of softens it, blends it in, but helps to keep that green pigment that we need to cover the redness. You can already see how much more that redness is hidden. You don't want to do this everywhere. You only want to put it where your redness is. Okay, so if you have rosacea, like I have some around my nose, or redness, or acne, then green colour corrector, if you're struggling to get those covered, will be your new best friend. Okay, next, the Barry M colour correcting wand again. This is in the colour Lemon. So I use this for my dark and dry circles if they're really bad. They're actually not bad today. I was going to do it for the purpose of the video, but I just feel like it's kind of needless because they're not too bad today. Foundation and a little bit of concealer will cover these on their own. But if I'm having if I've had a rough week and my dark and dry circles are really bad, then I will go for this and I will just apply it to my under eye area where I need it. And again, take the stippling brush and just kind of blend it in, and I just sort of press and it presses it into the skin. It helps cover up dark and dry circles. What colour you need kind of depends on your skin tone and the colour of your dark and dry circles. So if you have more of a, if they're more brown or even greyish or very, very dark, if you actually look really close, and you can usually see, you can see mine are actually sort of bluish here and a little bit purpley. So I use yellow colour corrector. But if you are more on, if they are more sort of brown, greyish, very dark, then ideally you want kind of like a peachy colour corrector, like a pinky, family pink kind of colour, or an orangey pink. Don't know what this is about. Like this here, to cover your dark and dry circles. Okay, so next up is foundation. So my everyday go-to foundation is the Revlon Color Stay. Okay, now I kind of change shades depending on the time of year and so on. So in summer, when I'm a little bit more tan, I will use the shade Medium Beige. And in winter, when I am hella pale, I will use Natural Beige. So after all the babble talk, I'm going to go ahead and apply my foundation. I'm obviously using the Kabuki brush and the Revlon Color Stay. Okay, so I'm going to put it onto the back of my hand first, and then just pick up a little bit with the brush and blend it around. Okay, I'm not going to do all of that. You've seen me do this 100 times. I'm going to skip forward. Okay, sorry I had to skip through that, but we've got a lot to get through and I want to keep this video as short as possible. So, next, concealer. So, concealer. I actually use two different concealers. It depends on what I'm using them for. So, if I have like a really stubborn blemish, like a huge one, because I have cystic acne, so they are like really large and painful lumps on the skin or under the skin, then I will use this one, because this is kind of the closest match to my foundation. So this is what I use to cover things up with. This is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and I use the shade 10. Okay, I also use this to kind of like clean up my eyeliner or like my eyebrows and what have you. But for under my eyes and things, I use Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Eraser, and this is in the shade Warm Light. So I use this under my eyes, like so. I do switch the concealers, but this is kind of the one I've been using the most for a little while now. So I put some under my eyes like this, so it's going to sort of, because it's a shade or about a shade lighter than my foundation, it's going to brighten my under eye area. I put a little bit in the centre of my forehead, because it's kind of like highlighting in a way. And I sometimes put a tiny bit on the end of my nose, a tiny bit there. I don't always put this much on, but you know, we'll go with that. The stippling brush again to blend it out. So just really, really lightly, barely touching the skin, just kind of dust the brush over it. I need a mirror because I can't see what I'm doing. Here we go. And just sort of press in. And then here along the edge, I kind of do this little circular motion. Going to blend it out, and then as I get up to where I need the most coverage, this is going to help cover those dark under eyes and all of that jazz, as well as brightening my under eye area. I just sort of press the brush against my skin, kind of like on the side, and it just pushes it into the skin. Okay, so the next thing is setting your makeup. Now you want to be pretty quick with this, because by setting the makeup you're preventing your foundation from creasing in your like fine lines and things, and the longer we leave it before doing that, they will kind of crease, and then you're going to go and set those creases in place, which we do not want. So you want to be pretty quick with this. If you're not super quick with this and you notice it has already started to crease, like around your under eyes or forehead and so on, just take your kabuki and press over it, and it will kind of iron those back out again. Ready for setting. So for setting powder, I use this one. It is from a company called Ben Nye, BEN-NYE, and I use the shade Fair. Okay, and I tip it out into the little lid, and I use the Zemira setting brush. I pick up some of the powder, and then I just tap off the excess, and I apply it in a pressing motion like this. Okay, you don't want to be sweeping it, because then you just getting powder everywhere but where you need it, and you just kind of want to concentrate it in certain areas without looking really powdery. So just press it everywhere that I need to set, because I have an oily T-zone, as I have enlarged pores, and I also have yeah, fine lines and wrinkles. Next step is contouring. Now I do contour because, as you will see, by applying foundation and products and setting powders and things, we completely strip out any natural shadows that our face had. So kind of around here, I naturally have shadows, and when we apply foundation and things, it kind of blocks all of that out because it's coverage and it's making our face appear one colour. So I'm going to put the natural shadows back into my face. It gives our face more dimension and less sort of flat. So I used to use all the time a contour palette from a company called Revolution that they sold in like Superdrug and places like that, and I loved it, and it was so cheap, but they stopped doing it. They now do a different one, and it's just not as good in my opinion. So I'm now using one from a Smashbox palette. Please excuse the foundation on it. Let's just pretend that's not there. Smashbox palette that I've had for a while, and it is this shade here. I apply it with the Zemira contour brush here, as you can see, and I apply a little bit on my temples, here and here, and I apply some along my jawline, like so. And then I take the Zemira powder brush and I blend that out. I never use the same brush to apply with contour and blend it out, because otherwise it can just end up looking very muddy and you're just going to keep applying more and more product you don't want. So I just apply the amount that I want, where I want it, and then I go over and blend it out with the Zemira powder brush, like so. And you can see it just softens that all up. Completely forgot to tell you what the palette was called. So it's the Smashbox Shape Matters palette. I'm going to apply bronzer. Now I'm going to confess something. I've had these bronzing pearls. Yes, I use bronzing pearls from number 7 for like, I don't know, maybe 4 years now. And I love them. I just love them. So I just take a little bit of bronzer, and does it have a shade? Yeah, it does. Perfectly bronzed, and it's number 7. I don't even know if they still do this, but yeah, I love them. I'm having a bit of a nightmare. You know that little pot that I poured my setting powder into? Well, I just dropped my brush into it and sent it flying up in the air, and it is now everywhere. Maybe I shouldn't have started this video today. Next, brows. The brows. I don't know why I say them. People have asked me numerous times, what if you could take one product on a makeup product on a deserted island with you, what would it be? This. Well, brow products would be my product, but this is what I use every day. So this is the NYX Brow Gel in the shade Brunette, and I use it with, don't hate me for this, but I use it with a prototype of a new brush we have launching. I know a lot of you have been waiting very patiently for it, but due to COVID, we've had some delays because obviously production of everything had to stop for a while. It's back up now, but it's going to be about 8 weeks until they are ready to launch-ish. Here's the hand again. So that is what I use. It's a new Hyper Precise brow brush. So that is what I use to apply it. And again, I'm not going to go through all of this because you see me doing my brows most days on my stories or on my videos and whatnot. So yeah, but I love this product because it stays put. Because I said earlier, I have like oily skin, and this dries and stays put. There's no like transfer, you know, like when you lean on your boyfriend or your partner, or you do this and then remove your hand. It's not transferred, it's not smudged, it's not smeared, it's not on them. It is still on my brows where they once were and always should be. So yeah. Okay, brows done. So next is a little bit of eyeshadow. Now, anyone that watches my stories will know I've been using this daily since I got it. This is the Morphe Truth or Bear palette. Okay, this is what it looks like inside. I think it was around £18 from, I think I got it from Boots Online. I'm sure it was around £18, which is good because they're pretty big eyeshadow pans and you get quite a few. But I love these neutral tones, especially for everyday kind of use. Now I don't have any clean eyeshadow brushes, so can we all just agree to not judge me on the state of my eyeshadow brushes, please? Thank you. The colour I'm going to use is, I kind of mix on a daily basis. I'm not, you know, I'm just kind of applying a soft, easy makeup. I switch between this colour, and this colour here. So this one, and this one. They're my kind of faves. But today, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of this one. Don't know what it's called because I've lost the little plastic thing that goes on the top that tells you what they are, what their names are. So I'm just applying a little bit to the outer corner. And then kind of blending it up. My everyday and kind of evening eyelashes most of the time are these, and these are the Eyelure 117 lashes. So the number is 117, and I get them from Boots most of the time. They are my favorites because they're like shorter in the front and longer in the back. So they kind of, if you have hooded eyes like me, it means it's not covering up with long lashes, not covering up all of this part of your eye, and it's just kind of giving that length and stuff at the end, but it's also thickening them. And they're just kind of nice, fluffy, flirty eyelashes. They are 100% synthetic as well. This lash I just stood on, so it looks pretty worse for wear now. But I'm going with it anyway because I don't have another one. So this is the Ofra, it sounds like Oprah, but it's nice. O-F-R-A, Ofra. Highlighter in the shade Rodeo Drive. Okay, lips. I'm going to wipe off the foundation first. Lips, I am going to be using Morphe, and the shade is Spiffy. I love that name, Spiffy. Spiffy is, yeah, my thing. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so the one I'm going to use is Taunt. It's called Taunt. Again, it's from Morphe, and it's like a matte liquid lipstick. So I'm going to apply all over my lips, just a little bit. I try not to go too heavy, especially with matte liquid lipsticks, because it can just really dry your lips out. In fact, I missed a step. What I normally do before I put any matte liquid lipstick on is put some lip balm on first, so it really plumps up the lips and stops them looking so dehydrated like mine do right now. But I'm not finished anyway. So last but not least, I take this soft matte lip cream from NYX, and this is in the shade Cairo, and I put it in the center of my lips, like so, and then I just sort of blend it in, keeping it mainly on the center of my lips. It just gives a little bit more dimension to the lipstick. Okay, and there we have it. The last, very final step is setting spray. Now, my ultimate favourite setting spray is actually Smashbox again, and it's their Prime, I don't know what it's called. It's a Primer Water. That is what I love the most, but I have run out completely. So I have been using either of these two. They both smell amazing. This is from Too Faced, and and it is the Hangover 3-in-1 primer and setting, replenishing primer and setting spray, and it smells like coconuts. And then the other one that I have been loving, this has a little bit more of a kind of, it's luminous Morphe luminous setting spray, and it has a bit more of a kind of, gives you a bit more of a dewy kind of look. So, and this smells, I don't know what it smells like, but it's freaking amazing. Yeah, and then I just sit here like a weirdo, fanning my face. And that is it. That is my kind of everyday go-to makeup look with all of the products. So I hope this has helped and answered some of your questions. Have an amazing day / weekend / everything. Much love.